2017 started with a bang across the Carolinas as the very first weekend of January brought a winter storm.
During the first weekend of January, we were dealing with our first winter storm. Sleet, freezing rain, snow, and rain all fell the night of January 6th. Over 4 inches of snow came down at GSP Airport, and black ice was an issue for many nights to come.
I can barely see right now. It's coming down so hard. And
it made many of you wonder if this was just the start of a very active winter, but that didn't turn out to be the case.
Here in most of the upstate, I don't think
on March 12th, Sunday morning, a quick-moving system brought about 1 to 2 inches of snowfall across much of the upstate, but it quickly melted toward midday. After that, we had a couple of late-season cold snaps that proved devastating to the peach crop, among many others. Our weather shifted to a stormier pattern toward late March, bringing large hail to the upstate. Baseball-sized hail was even reported, and there was widespread damage to cars and roofs. We saw quite a bit of hail at Fox, Carolina as well, and many of us were directly affected.
I was actually one of the many who were impacted by that storm personally. My car suffered hail damage as tennis ball size hail fell at my apartment. And let's just say, sparing you the details, that I learned a very valuable lesson in why car insurance is an important thing to have.
During the month of April, our severe weather threat turned to tornadoes.
It is likely going to be causing some tree damage.
6 tornadoes touched down during the month, with 4 of them occurring on April 3rd in Central, Berea, Laurens, and Whitmire. A few days later, some overnight storms spawned 2 weak tornadoes through Anderson County. Isaac and I were on the air wall to wall well into the late night hours.
Nighttime tornadoes can be especially dangerous, so while we focus equally on each tornado warning, we pay extra attention to those occurring at night.
The rest of April was a bit calmer, but we did have our first named storm in the Atlantic, named Arlene. It happened over a month before hurricane season officially began, and little did we know about the historic hurricane season to come.
Capable of producing tornadoes at this point.
May brought the typical strong storms with some wind damage across the upstate. Then on May 24th, a strong EF2 tornado struck Newberry County. By June, well, it was an active month with typical summer storms, as well as a tornado warning from the tropical storm Cindy that made landfall along the Gulf Coast. We got a little break in July with some hot, humid days and only a few stormy ones. It was calm before the chaos of August through October.
One thing I'm getting a little bit anxious about.
The focus of August was on our solar eclipse. We covered this incredible event from all over our area.
Listen to everyone cheering.
And it was truly an unforgettable experience.
I'm just speechless.
That was awesome! In the Greenville area, I can report to you.
As a weather team, we definitely felt the pressure to forecast cloud conditions that day.
So usually in an average forecast, we only have to worry about forecasting clouds for during the day and overnight. But that day, we had to forecast cloud cover and how much sun would be out at a specific hour and minute of the day, which is something we rarely have to do. But as the event happened, I was live covering it in Clemson. There were a few clouds that started to pop up in the sky, but luckily right at that totality time of 2:37, the sun was unblocked, except of course by the moon, and day to dark to night happened in just under 3 minutes, and I'll never forget the experience.
So you can see it's just hanging on.
After the eclipse, the tropics became our main focus. I watched as Hurricane Harvey brought catastrophic flooding to my hometown of Houston, Texas.
More rain and more flooding.
And I worried about my family in Galveston. Luckily, they were okay, but so many lost their lives or everything they had in the rising water. So many records were broken as Harvey dumped the most rain ever in the U.S. at 52 inches, brought over 200 tornado warnings.
Local crews are also headed to Texas.
And was the first Category 4 storm to hit Texas since 1961. The next storm to move in was Irma. Irma, and it brought a big impact for us. That leads us to September.
Even though Irma made landfall hundreds of miles away, it brought tropical storm force wind gusts and several inches of rain, so it's always important to remember to never focus on that center line.
Notice that it is forecast to
Luckily, Maria made a northerly turn in late September, missing the U.S.
Pickens County also feeling the brunt of this storm.
But Nate was set to impact us going into October. On October 7th, Hurricane Nate would lead to one of the biggest tornado outbreaks we've ever seen in the upstate. There were 6 confirmed tornadoes with 2 strong EF2 twisters with winds at 130 miles per hour, one impacting Pickens and Norris, while the other moved through Cross Hill to Glen Springs in Lawrence and Spartanburg counties.
It's moving so incredibly fast right
A couple of weeks later, we were up against another rare tornado outbreak in the upstate and Piedmont of North Carolina. 5 tornadoes were confirmed, with 2 more strong EF2 tornadoes in Spartanburg and Gaffney. It was a situation where we knew tornadoes were on the ground based on radar that day.
Newer Doppler radar technology actually offers up a tornado debris signature, and if we see that on radar, we can actually detect whether or not debris is being lofted into the air by a thunderstorm.
November proved to be a fairly quiet month of weather, while December brought us an early snow across our area. But just know that we are always ready for the next extreme event, and we strive to bring you the best coverage possible. We'll skip the hype and give you the information you need to know.